before bedtime it helps you to sleep better, and that is not true because in actual sense
A whiskey spilled or wine before beer. You've heard about all these stories about alcohol, the beliefs people hold, what they think alcohol is going to do for them after drinking a certain amount of it. People think about alcohol as something that is good, that is going to help them perform various activities, feel better, and all that. Today, in this very episode, join us to discuss all these beliefs people hold about alcohol, which majority of them are not true. I'm Kajui Vincent, and before we dive into our discussion today, I would like to thank you guys for subscribing to our channel, liking our content, and commenting. That feedback is much appreciated. On the other hand, I would like to thank in a special way our colleagues, our friends, our comrades from North America, from Europe, and elsewhere in Africa, and the entire world. I was so overwhelmed after seeing that our first audio podcast that we uploaded just of recent received the first 5 views from North America. That was New York, Carolina, and North Carolina. We are so grateful. Europe, we are so blessed to have you guys liking our content and sharing it. Special shout out to you all, and elsewhere in Africa. I've seen downloads and shares from Kenya, from Burundi, from Nigeria, from Egypt. I was surprised because it's a Muslim country which is not so much into alcohol, but I was so surprised. And elsewhere, please continue to share our content, continue to encourage people to change their habits about alcohol, and let's move this journey together. Before we continue, I would like to have my colleague to first greet you and say a word to you, and then we dive into our today's conversation. This is the Sober Drive.
Hello friends, we hope you're doing well today. Thank you for being on our show. I would like to send special regards to all of you that have actually taken your time to subscribe and view our content. We are so overwhelmed. Today we want to ask you again, please subscribe to our content, share the likes, comments. You are free because this is an initiative where we are actually looking forward to work together as a community. Please use our comment section, tell us how we can improve, give us your views, and be able to be part of this conversation. So let's dive right into today's conversation. We are looking at the common myths about alcohol that society holds today. So many people that are drinking alcohol today, excessive alcohol consumptionists, have certain beliefs that we hold against alcohol. You know, I've heard things like I've heard common sayings from among my age group. Boys and girls say, you know, when you take alcohol, you'll be confident. When you take alcohol, you have good sleep. When you take alcohol, you know, society looks at you differently. You know, we love that vibe. So we have all these things, which I believe are actually not true. That is why we've given them the name of myths that have actually misled so many of us, young people especially. We want to belong, first of all. We want to feel good. But at the end of it all, we are consuming alcohol, more alcohol than we are supposed to be consuming. And at the end of it all, we have problems. We start having problems. Now, we are university students, so we have friends. They start missing lectures because, you know, there is this continuous hangover because of the belief that, you know, alcohol makes you feel good, that kind of thing. So please join us today in this conversation as we break down some of these myths.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. You know, since we began this initiative of having these podcasts, I've had most of my time devoted to carrying out research, understanding what people think. Of course, we would go to Google and we download things and we just get them there, put them into audio or video for people to consume them. But I personally took the initiative of asking some of my friends what they think alcohol do or helps them to achieve. And I was very surprised with the number one. It was so surprising when someone told me that, you know, if it rained or it is cold, alcohol will help you to warm up a little bit. So some people believe, because I want to believe it was not his opinion, it is something that I've seen elsewhere when I was trying to go through literature and all that. People have been writing about alcohol helping you to warm up. The only problem with taking alcohol is that at that particular moment you might feel good. You may feel better, most especially after taking these strong alcohol types, if I can call them. The whisks, the Wallach, I don't know, they are called the spirits and all that. But I would like to tell you guys, I would like to share with you comrades outside there that however much you feel good after consuming alcohol during that cold weather, it is actually doing a greater danger than what you're going to enjoy after taking that particular unit. You know, you've heard about what they call the hypothermia. I don't know, I'm not a medic, like I said, our content is not for medical use. It is educational purposes. So if somewhere I mentioned something and we're having a difference in the pronunciation, please forgive me. You've seen people talking about the concept hypothermia. Hypothermia means that your body temperature drops, I cannot say drastically, but below the normal human body temperature. You've seen people with their body temperature lower than 35% degrees Celsius. It means that you're suffering this particular, should I call it a syndrome? Something like that. So it is a problem, but one of the major causes of this problem is actually alcohol consumption. So don't be misled by friends, don't be misled by anyone, that after consuming alcohol, you're going to warm up a little bit. And, you know, in Africa, we are blessed, we don't have these days, the so-called days of winter. You know, I just hear, I don't know, maybe one of our viewers one day will give me a trip to Europe and I evidence these things. I just hear people talking about snow and this very cold weather. I don't imagine living in those very cold temperatures. But if you're living in such an area with the very low temperature levels, and then you start consuming alcohol, you're actually having a very high chances of suffering from that problem of hypothermia. I don't know, have you heard about people talking about feeling a little bit warm after taking alcohol or taking a sip of particular spirit or wine?
Actually, it is not just alcohol. I happen to have friends who smoke, so they say they want to, you know, warm up, and I don't understand, but I really think if you really want to warm up, there are other healthy ways you can warm up, you know. You could take a cold shower, you could have a cup of tea, you know.
And of course, working out. If you're feeling, it is actually very healthy for you to work out. Whenever you're feeling cold, you never feel cold. When you're jogging or trying to make some push-ups or sit-ups, of course. You know, I have a friend who doesn't want to work out at all. So, but it is a very healthy for you to work out always. So whenever you're feeling cold, instead of taking alcohol, instead of going for any particular other drug that is having very many negative effects on your life, please take on the health ways of making yourself warm. I think Elizabeth might have gathered for us the second one. The second belief people hold about alcohol.
Okay, so the other myth about use of alcohol is that so many people believe that, when you take alcohol, a lot of it, it helps you to sleep better, especially at night. So what happens is that during day, any normal human being, your body gets worked out. It could be from class, it could be from your workplace. We have sportsmen and women, it could be from your field or daily drills. It could be from, people have different professions. We have those ones that spend their day moving up and down. The transport sector. So by dusk, you're worked out, and usually people say, they actually don't say, they believe that, when you sip some alcohol before bedtime, it helps you to sleep better. And that is not true, because in actual sense, sipping alcohol before going to bed scientifically distorts your sleeping schedule. I don't know if
I actually understand and I know about that. Unlike you, I told you I have very, very people. I have friends who drink. And whenever I drink, and get it from me, whenever I drink, most of the times it may help you to sleep. But at the end of the day, it is going to destroy your sleeping cycle. For example, if people get drunk after taking that particular amount of liquor, they will sleep for more than normal hours, most of the times.
And
so
even when they wake up, this hangover from last night, it will keep tipping on you. It will tip. So most of the time, you actually start to, be out of your morning schedules. People who go to work very early in the morning. These are the cases we have at work. You report at work at 8, and at 9, you're dozing. You can't concentrate. You can't function because of this hangover from last night. I remember every time you sip, or every time you make your body, if you condition your body to have a drink because you want to sleep better, if it works for you the first time, you're going to do it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So you find that actually some people cannot sleep without alcohol. It is like these people who are using sleeping pills that are not prescribed by medical personnel. When your body gets conditioned to this kind of, substance, you will not sleep until you take that pill. You will not sleep until you sip some. This takes us to our third myth about alcohol.
This is very interesting, and it is widely heard by very many people. Do you know that people believe, or many people who tend to take some amount of alcohol, believe that mixing different types of alcohol is actually causing what we call the worst hangover.
So when you take only one, that hangover is good.
And I don't know, that's not what they think, but what they think is that when you take, you mix from wine, you take some spirit, you take some whiskey. I don't want to mention people's types of alcohol we have, so I'll just talk about
it's
spirits,
okay. We
beers.
are mentioning people.
Yeah. So they believe that if you're going to drink to have a relatively okay hangover, as they want to call it,
Relatively okay.
okay hangover, you should eliminate mixing different types of alcohol. I believe this is very wrong, and I've been trying to read around the truth in this whole belief, and I've found that it is actually very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. According to the research.
I know, how is it wrong? Because for me, if I get hangover from just, let me say, Uganda Waraj, and then we have you who is mixing Uganda Waraj, you mix Torero on that one, you're going to mix Hennessy in that one. Don't you think for your hangover is actually, you have a bigger, you're more likely, to have a bigger problem than me who is just only using one?
Before I actually respond to that, the only problem is that you think for you don't have a problem because you're taking just one type of alcohol. Look, the degree of your hangover or the magnitude of your hangover will depend on the amount of alcohol you take. and the reaction of your body system. Remember, people have various different, like, I don't know how it is done. I don't know. Maybe we are going to ask our doctors in the coming episodes, explain to people how it works, that for you can take one glass and you're already drunk. And I mean, someone else will take like
6 bottles.
7, 8 bottles, and they are fine. Because I've seen someone who has taken a crate of beer.
Why you took a crate of beer?
No, me. I told you I do not drink. You know that. But what it is, you must understand that the only reason as to why you can sometimes feel bad whenever you mix alcohol is that alcohol is having different alcohol content. Like each type of alcohol will be having different alcohol content in it. For example, you find out that one of your favorite spirits is actually 42% alcohol, and then you have to mix it with some other strong one, which is 42 degrees, 42% alcohol.
What if I mix it with that one that is 4%?
Still, the only problem is that you end up taking a lot of alcohol, which causes that hangover, but you're not mixing. It is the amount of alcohol content you take that causes the problem of that, I don't know, worst hangover as you want to call it. But still, taking, while mixing, or taking a particular type of alcohol will not save you from hangover. And if you don't want to experience any problems with alcohol, please don't drink. Because there is no that particular way of controlling your hangover, whether you mixed or you did not mix.
Okay. There is something else I've heard. When you take alcohol at night, it helps with your digestion. But in my biology class, that was senior 3?
I don't know.
For my biology class, I think it was, when do we study digestion? Senior 3, senior 4.
I did not study with you. I don't know where you studied.
Yeah, but you have the same syllabus.
Perhaps I don't really remember.
Around senior 3, we do the digestive system. During those classes, I don't remember any of my tutors, telling me that, when you sip some alcohol, we learned about so many, good habits for the digestive system, but sipping wasn't part of those ones. So I don't know where young adults and adults who choose to make alcohol part of their lifestyle, I don't know how we come to this conclusion that, in the night, when you sip some, it helps to improve your digestion. That is totally wrong.
Actually, let me just tell you straightforward. I won't go into biology, the biology you studied, the what, and when it was done. Sincerely, I don't know if I can even remember. But something I should tell you, and you should understand, and this is for my friends still, and the very many people have been asking about all these things. They have told me, after drinking, many of them experience the following conditions. One, I don't know, besides, I want to use the simplest word, but since medics say everything's right to be said, it is the running stomach. So you're going to experience that as a result. Very many people will start vomiting. Others will experience problems like heartburn. Others will find out that they are experiencing some stomach pain. What causes all this? Sometimes when you take alcohol, most of the times it is not neutral. It increases the amount of acid you have in your stomach that is generated in your body. And the problem with too much acid in your stomach, it will start causing all those problems. It is actually contributing to ulcers we're having today because of you guys consuming a lot of alcohol, which is not backed up with enough eats. So alcohol does not help you with your digestion.
Like crisps.
You should eat food. I mean, people who snack It is another addiction, I believe, that we should fight in the society. It is not healthy at all. At all, at all. It is not. But if you want to have proper digestion, there are very healthy ways of achieving it. One, make sure that your meal does not miss vegetables. Do more of vegetables. Ensure that hard foods, they are not so much part of your daily diet. I'm talking about things to do with wheat, chapati, bread, and all that. Excessive eating of them may cause some problems like indigestion. And then make yourself always used to taking water and sugar-free juice, or using fruits and other healthy options.
So
They will help
are
you.
we substituting our precious alcohol for water and juice without sugar?
You've told us that the reason as to why you're drinking is because you think alcohol will help you with the proper digestion. That is wrong, absolutely wrong. You're going to end up in the hospital with your speed, your stomach. If not, you end up, having all these complications, even if you don't go to the hospital. But it is healthier if you think your problem is the proper digestion. It is better and it is advisable that each meal you take, include a salad, include a vegetable, add on fruits, drink enough water, eat on time, you'll be fine.
Okay, so this one is very interesting. Actually, I first heard about this one during the COVID-19 pandemic.
I know that one.
I don't know its origin, but I first heard about this thing during the pandemic. We had this whole thing. Sanitizers have some
Alcohol content.
Yeah, they have some alcohol content. Actually, some of them are too bad that they smell like alcohol itself. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, we had this sanitizing new culture everywhere all over the world, and from nowhere we started to hear things like alcohol helps you to kill bacteria in your throat and in your mouth.
That is not true. At least I'm not a medic, you know that. I told you, for me, I'm just a scholar. Just like you. I just read a lot. And actually one of the warnings we had from our Minister of Health, I remember Dr. Acheng talking about this issue, that people, instead of sanitizing to kill the virus, they are actually sanitizing their intestines.
No, because there was that thing, when you take alcohol helps you to kill the bacteria in the body.
Let me tell you something you should understand, and everyone outside there. Drinking, you're not going to kill any virus inside you. Because let's use the example of COVID-19. At least we knew that it was like a respiratory syndrome. The virus could attack your lungs first. That's why you could get all that suffocation and all that. And according to my simple biology that I've studied, anyway, enhanced by research, I've not seen anywhere anybody telling me that when you drink or eat anything, it is going to the lungs. I've not seen that. They'll go to the stomach, which means the amount of alcohol you're taking does not go where it is meant to go. It is going to the stomach.
My dear, the local community believes that
These are the people.
Alcohol kills bacteria in your throat and in your mouth.
I should tell you that alcohol is not a recommendable and proven cure for any bacteria or throat or stomach or lungs or elsewhere. It is not. And if you think you're suffering from any of those, instead of depending on alcohol, taking all classes you can afford and you can't afford, go to the hospital, seek medical attention. But actually some people, do you know that people sometimes think they are sick? You feel like you're having something inching in the throat, and you're like, get me one bottle.
What is how
Let
you
me
know?
clear it.
That happens, I think, also when, especially people who take these tough spirits, the body gets conditioned, and usually people have times when they drink. Leave now this section that is addicted, but to people that are suffering genuine alcohol addiction outside there, just know we have your hearts, we love you people, and we want you to do better. But you can't do better until you make that choice to make yourself better. So our hearts are with you. You can seek medical advice. You can seek medical treatment. But there are these ones who are just, before you get addicted, you start slowly. So we have people who have hours when they take alcohol. Like, for me, if I go to class, I'll come back at around 5, and then maybe I'll work on my assignments, and at 7, I go governor there, I have a bottle or two. So there are people whose bodies have become conditioned to that timetable that, at 7, something has to be running down my throat. So if it doesn't happen, if for you in your head, the throat is going to itch you.
And you think it is a bacteria. Oh, it is. Okay. Don't you mislead our viewers. Truth of the matter is, alcohol, unless it was prescribed by a medical personnel, I don't think it is anywhere medicinal, and you should buy it from the shop or the nearest bar attendant for you to take and clear these bacteria. So what? Always seek medication from the hospital. The other point that has been burning so much in me, it has been so much burning because I took a lot of time to understand. Someone tried to convince me up to when they forced me actually to go and I read about these things myself, because I didn't have any other immediate way of dealing with it. Someone said, there is that particular arrangement people have on how they should take alcohol. That if you take a whiskey spilled or wine before beer, it is wrong. You're going to have the worst hangover. But it should be a beer and then whiskey or any other thing.
That order.
Yes, that there is a specific order
for you
that minimizes hangover and all that.
Interesting.
Guys, this is very, very wrong. Like I said previously, the determinant of your hangover, the determinant of when you become sober again, will depend on the amount of alcohol you do take. It does not anywhere depend on the order of the matter. Because I believe, even if you do what, beer will go away, and then followed by the spirit, by the wine, by the whiskey, and all other beers you do take. So, I should tell you, or from me, you can go and conduct any other further research. There is no order in taking alcohol. Don't just take alcohol.
No,
if you don't want.
Maybe there is an order for taking alcohol, but there is no order that is safe for taking alcohol.
It is known there. I don't know any.
Okay, I have heard of things like, when you take alcohol, it takes away stress. I don't know, maybe it does, by the way, because you have that, what is it called?
It is just like immediate comfort.
Yeah, you'll take, and it will get on your head, and you feel better for that time. You'll even sleep. But guess what? Tomorrow, not tomorrow, if you have it in the morning, and then you have some 3 good hours, if you're not cool-headed properly, you will go back, because you still want to keep this feeling. So alcohol does not make you feel better when you're stressed, when you have anxiety, when you're, people are going through very many stuff, by the way, but you can't know unless you talk to them. In this era, we have now social media. For me, I believe actually social media is another pandemic that we have to address on its own, especially among the young people.
That is on you. I don't.
So, so you find that when we wake up in the morning, many of us, me inclusive, even before you thank God for waking you up, you have to check your Instagram, check your WhatsApp status, check Instagram. But you know what happens is that people are posting daily, every hour, every minute, but people do not post the bad things that happen in their lives. We only want to, there's always a side. There is this natural competition among people today. People want to belong. People want to associate with a certain class of people. This is why we have so many problems. And actually one of them is, the way media has painted, alcohol and drug use as, when you take alcohol or when you smoke, when you do weed, you're cool. To some extent, you're the society's cool kid. But you can't know what people are going through if you do not talk to them. So they are posting daily and they're on vacations and they are happy. My dear, people have problems under their roofs that you can't even imagine once you start talking to them. So when you have anxiety, when you have stress, today people want to belong, young people. Anyway, not even 18, because these days, I don't know what happened. When we were growing up, actually up to now, my home is a traditional one. You do not get a phone until your first day at campus.
Love your dad and mom.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough because I used to feel like my parents don't just love me a lot because my friends would share phone contacts, and for me, to be able to speak to them, I had to share for my parents, so they would call through my parents to be able to talk to me. These days, parents give their children phones when they are 14, 13, even 12. They have phones. So what happens is that we tend to get used to what media paints as cool or good. So, and this is partly also because it is becoming a problem now that you have so many young people that can access the internet. These things are all over. Advertising companies are actually at their best at advertising these alcohol things. All the ads, all the adverts, the new beer in town, and they use these cool-looking ambassadors. I don't know if you've seen that guy on Captain Morgan. He looks so good. He's so cool. So
I've
for me,
seen the advert for Guinness.
yeah. So
Black shines brightest.
when I look at that advert, really, I want to be part of that. That strength, that strong black community. I would want to belong there because the way it is portrayed as, when you take Guinness Black Gold, it is spirit of Africanism. It is, I don't understand, and they do not regulate who watches these ads and who doesn't. So at the end of the day, we get used. We have actually media has that theory.
It's like, is it called the media dependence?
What media paints as good, we shall all take it as good. So people post pictures and videos and they are happy, but everybody is battling things that you know nothing about. So alcohol does not take away stress, does not take away anxiety. Yeah, you're going to sip bottles, you will even sip 7, 8, and you feel good. But guess what? Once it is out of your mind, you go back for another bottle.
Should I tell you something?
The stress doesn't go away.
You actually don't feel good. Sometimes people actually take it to just be able to nurture the pain. Like you're now having two problems. You're drunk and you're having your stress. Sometimes it doesn't go away. And I don't want anyone to think that after drinking you forget your problems. Never. You remember them, you'll be knowing. The only problem is that you're no longer sober and you think everything is possible. That's the only escape route you have.
Yeah, so now what
What
happens is if I start to nurture my stress and my anxiety and my depression and frustration with 2 bottles maybe of beer, you know, and I have an hour and a few minutes where I can forget, it is going to become a habit. And once it becomes a, remember, for you will take it, you'll take all the bottles you will like, it will be 1 + 1 + 1. But in your stomach, the content doesn't enter there as 1. So at the end of the day, you become accustomed. You train the body to get used to this alcohol. And
Which is
this
very bad.
this is
It is
where
risky
this
and
is where we
dangerous.
get the alcohol problem.
As we conclude today's episode, I would like to remind you guys, don't think that taking a cold shower, or I hear taking coffee, I hear all those myths that we've discussed above. Don't think that doing them will help you run away from alcohol or with alcohol. Taking alcohol is a melting bad that you, your friends, your children, and everyone in your circle should be knowing about. That when you decide taking alcohol, it is not just ending there. Most especially if you do it and you do it again. Addiction will be very hard and withdrawal syndromes are very severe. But, of course, we feel bad for our friends for naturally problems associated with alcoholism, people who are addicted to alcohol. These videos, these podcasts, these discussions are not meant to make you feel bad. We feel for you and we would encourage you to start on your journeys, of improving yourselves, working towards it. Very soon we are going to launch a 10-day trial of all our followers because I've received so far 4 people telling me stories about alcoholism. There we shall start from the few days and then we see how we can move. Otherwise, please subscribe to our channel, like our content, share it,
And please
comment.
don't forget our podcast has the audio version on Podbean. We shall be sharing the link down. The very first comment under our comment section is going to be the link that will take you to the audio version of our podcast. So if you're busy with something or work or or working out or evening drills, you can just get those earphones, plug into your phone and be able to listen to the audio version of our podcast at your convenience. Thank you for listening. We love you very much and we hope you can join us on our next episode.
Bye-bye.
They believe that when you sip some alcohol before bedtime, it helps you to sleep better. And that is not true because in actual sense,
A whiskey spilled or wine before beer, it is wrong. You're going to have worse. But